The story begins in 1862. During the American Civil War, between the Confederate States against the Federal States, where General Robert Edward Lee, from the Confederacy camp, is seen writing a letter. General Lee reported to President Jefferson Davis of the troop deaths which reached 10,000 lives. Where the death data is almost a quarter of the troops owned by the Confederate stronghold. But General Lee will continue to survive until the last drop of blood. General Lee assures the President Jefferson Davis that his sword will break in two before he surrenders. One night, General Lee was indecisive because he had lost a lot of troops and did not want to lose more troops. In the midst of doubts, suddenly a person named Atticus Rook appeared. "This is the bad guy." Atticus told General Lee that he saw the Federal troops experiencing the same anxiety as he did. He then convinced General Lee to keep his troops on guard and survive in his tent. In one corner, there is one soldier from the Confederacy camp named Zachary Bodine, got a gunshot wound to the chest. But he was lucky to be alive, because the bullet hit the drink bottle, which was in his pocket. His wife, Abby Bodine, waited beside him. Not long after, Atticus appeared and claimed to be a doctor. Atticus then asked Abby to get bandages and cotton. Atticus then took Zachy's bottle of drink and invited him to chat. And suddenly, Atticus broke Zachy's neck to death. Atticus then fled. The soldiers almost got it. Atticus then broke through a light and suddenly disappeared. Somewhere in the present, there is a room that contains a film lantern. The lantern is displaying troops' pictures, set in the 1800s. Suddenly, Atticus appeared from the image. Atticus then turns off the lantern. The image disappeared, and the gate of light closed. Atticus then called his friend, an antique collector's broker. He said he got an antique artifact, dating back to the American Civil War of 1862. Turns out, Atticus has just time traveled, using Louis Vandrity's invisibility lantern. Hello viewers, wherever you are. Back again with the Movies Storyline 90 channel. Back again, I will summarize a mystery story that is very mysterious. From the legendary mystery series, Friday the 13th. Which is, a time-peaking lantern. What's the story like? Let's go straight to the storyline. Story continues. One day, Jack, Mickey and Ryan attended an antique auction. They are looking for Louis Vandrity's cursed item, namely a film lantern, which Atticus bought. They searched for Atticus for 3 months, and now finally they found him. Auction begins. The presenter, whose name is Edward, shows an antique water bottle from the Civil War of 1862. The bottle had bullet holes marked with the name, Zachary Bodine, of the 10th Virginia Infantry Squad. Zachy is the soldier Atticus killed at the beginning of the story. Bidding went exciting, many bidding at high prices. And finally, the bottle of the drink sold at a very expensive price. One night, Atticus was with a woman at his house. Atticus then showed a slide photo of the Civil War on September 17, 1862, in which General Lee's troops from the Confederacy were massacred in the battle. Atticus then explained that the troops' treasure was left on the battlefield. And now, the treasure has become something of an antique that is of great value. And suddenly, Atticus broke the woman's neck, killing her. Ryan quietly followed Atticus. When Atticus returned to his room, suddenly Ryan pushed Atticus, until they both entered and penetrated the gate of time to the year 1862. Ryan and Atticus is in 1862. Ryan felt strange being in that place. Suddenly, Atticus appeared and hit Ryan's head until he fainted. At the Curious Goods store, Jack and Mickey, researching the Invisibility Lantern archive. Jack sensed that something was not right about Ryan, who should have returned. They were worried that something would happen to Ryan, who was following Atticus in his apartment. Jack then told Mickey about a slide photo of the Civil War massacre in 1862, entitled, Eye of Death. Mickey suspected that the lantern might be able to open the gate to the year 1862. Because, Mickey had just checked the files for the Voyage program earlier. All the items in Atticus's possession are from 1862, and on the same battlefield. They suspect Atticus has the photo slide, and the lantern, and obtain the artifact items by going back in time. In the past, Ryan woke up from his stupor. Ryan was found and helped by Abby, and his father, Murphy. Ryan realizes that he is in the year 1862. Abby and Murphy suspect Ryan as a spy from the Federal Army. Because, Ryan wears clothes and watches that they think are weird. But Ryan managed to convince them that he was looking for Atticus. They are now looking for the same person. Jack and Mickey went to the Atticus apartment. And sure enough, they invented the 1862 lantern and slide. Jack observed conditions in Atticus' room. He then found fresh blood splattered near the slide. Whatever it is, Jack and Mickey firmly believe that the cursed lantern is at work. Mickey found a book about 1862 Civil War references. The book contains chronology and important events, which made Atticus aware of all the events that occurred at that time. They no longer doubted that Atticus used this lantern to travel to the past. They are increasingly worried about what happened to Ryan in the past. But the lantern is the only way for Ryan to come home. Jack and Mickey then return to the Curious Goods store for more information on Civil War and occult lanterns. In the past, Murphy pointed a gun at Atticus. Murphy still remembers that it was Atticus who killed Zaki. Atticus tries to convince Murphy not to kill him. Atticus said he had very important information for General Lee. And suddenly, Atticus broke Murphy's head to death. Ryan happened to be at the place. He then chased after Atticus. But Atticus managed to escape and return to the present. Ryan is trapped. The troops thought it was Ryan who had killed Murphy. Ryan then ran away. At the Curious Goods store, Jack and Mickey check out Atticus's reference book on Civil War events. All of the photos in the book are from the same battle, the Battle of Sharpsburg, where General Lee's troops were slaughtered in the battle. Mickey finds a photo of Ryan in the past in the book. In the photo, there is a photo of Ryan with General Lee. And it reads, Federal Spy Before Execution. Mickey is getting worried about Ryan being written dead in history, and they know that Ryan is still alive tonight. Today, Atticus is in trouble. Where the troop photo slide in 1862 broke, and cannot be used anymore. Atticus needed another 1862 photo slide, in order to go back in time. Abby thought that Ryan killed Murphy. Ryan tried to explain to Abby that Atticus was the one who killed his father. Ryan then explains that he comes from the future. He then shows the watch and the contents of his wallet, which contains items from the future. Abby finally trusts Ryan after seeing the banknotes and ID of the future Ryan. Ryan then asked Abby to report it to General Lee, with information that Ryan was a spy for the federal troops. So that Ryan can get closer to Atticus, and return to the future. Jack and Mickey followed Atticus on their way to Edward's house. Atticus asked Edward to take a photo slide from the War of 1862. Atticus then turned on the invisibility projector. Edward didn't realize what Atticus was up to with photo slide and projector. And sure enough, Atticus suddenly broke Edward's neck to death. Mickey and Jack arrived just as it happened. Atticus will enter towards the gate of the past. Mickey then runs and pushes Atticus until they both penetrate the gate to the past. In the past, General Lee was taking a group photo in front of the church. Suddenly, Abby came who handed over Ryan. Abby assures General Lee that Ryan has information about federal troops. When Ryan entered the church, the photographer took his picture. This is the photo in the reference book, which Mickey found in the future. General Lee interrogates Ryan. Ryan spoke about what he knew in the future, which has not happened yet. But General Lee didn't believe it. Suddenly, Atticus came, and gave General Lee the map he needed. Ryan tells General Lee not to trust Atticus. General Lee can find his own way. But General Lee trusted Atticus more and then ordered his troops to execute Ryan.
Must be a Yankee spy or deserter.
Ryan is herded by General Lee's troops, and will be executed. Suddenly, Mickey comes on horseback, and manages to save Ryan. Elsewhere, Abby finds Atticus carrying General Lee's sword. He points his gun, and is about to shoot Atticus. But Atticus moves faster. Atticus then grabs Abby's gun, and then shoots her. Ryan and Mickey came at that moment. Ryan then jumped, and hit Atticus to the ground. Abby tells Ryan that everything is fine, she will meet her husband and father. Abby later died from a gunshot wound to his chest. Ryan was angry. He then took General Lee's sword, and was about to slash at Atticus. But suddenly, the gate to the present opened. Mickey and Ryan then ran towards the gate. Atticus panicked. It was the only way back to the present. He then goes after Ryan and Mickey. Ryan and Mickey made it back to the present. Meanwhile, Jack was waiting for them. As shown in the photo slide image, the shadow of Atticus was starting to appear. Jack quickly headed to the lantern, and immediately extinguished the fire that was inside the lantern, to close the time gate of the invisibility lantern. The lanterns went out, just as Atticus was in the middle of the gate. Atticus was trapped, and trapped in the gate of time, until he died. Jack, Mickey and Ryan survived. They're back at the Curious Goods store. Jack said that what happened to tonight's events in the past might have an effect on the present. Whatever it was, they would never find out. And the story is end.